Lesson 1, Geometry Vocabulary. A point is an exact position or location in a given plane. To draw a point, you simply draw a dot, but of course we don't call it a dot, we do call it a point, and you label it with a letter of the alphabet, such as B. To name this point is simply called point B, so it is named for that letter of the alphabet. A line is a straight path that extends forever. So to draw a line, we draw a line with arrows at the end. And we'll put 2 points on that line, and these are going to help us actually name the line. So to name this line, we will call it line AB. And the way that we write that is by writing the letters AB with an actual line at the top of it. Now, this could be called line AB, but it could also be called line BA. Because this line does not have a start point or an end point, we could actually read it either way, AB or BA. A line segment is a line with 2 endpoints. So a line segment, unlike a line, it has a start point and an end point. To name a line segment, it is named just like naming a line, line AB, except there are no arrows at the end because this is not a line extending forever. It does stop. It could be called line segment AB or it could be called line segment BA. A ray is a line with a start point but no end point. To draw a ray, we first draw a point, and then we have a line extending from it. So we can call this A, and then we'll also put a point on this ray and call it B. To name a ray, it is named by stating the starting point first. So the only way to name this ray is naming it ray AB. To draw at the top, we are going to draw a line with only 1 arrow. So here we have our starting point, and then we have the rest of the line. So you go in the exact order of the drawn ray. An angle is a figure formed by 2 rays sharing a common endpoint. So I think we're all familiar as to what an angle looks like. Here is our common midpoint, common endpoint, and here are our 2 rays. Now, in order to talk about naming this ray, let's go ahead and draw some points on this, angle. So we'll call this A, we'll call this B, and we'll call this C. Now, there are actually 3 ways to name this angle. The first way is angle ABC. So we draw our angle mark, and then we write ABC. It could also be named the other way, CBA, angle CBA. Or it can just be named for that common endpoint, angle B. So make sure that you are familiar with all 3 ways to name the angle because you will be asked to name, to give all possible names for the angle. A circle is a set of points on a plane at a certain distance or radius from the center. So we all know what a circle looks like, and mine is so ugly. But here will be our center point, and that center point is named with a letter of the alphabet. Now, the way that we would name this circle is simply calling it circle A. It is named for its center. Parallel lines are lines in the same plane that never intersect. So these are lines that have the exact same slope, meaning they will never actually touch each other or intersect. I think that we're all familiar with what parallel lines look like. So if this were called line M and this were called line N, the way that we would notate that these 2 lines were parallel is just like this. This says that line M is parallel to line N. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form right angles. So I'm going to do my best to make an accurate picture. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. So here we have 2 lines that are actually intersecting. Right here, we have a 90-degree angle or a right angle. So these are perpendicular lines. So if this were line M and this were line N, the way that we would notate that these two lines are perpendicular is like this. Line M is perpendicular to line N. Distance is the linear distance between 2 points on a given line. So let's say that we have this line here and we have point A and we have point B. This space in between these 2 points is the distance. So when we're asking what the distance is from point A to point B, we're asking for the length of this line segment, the length of line segment AB. A right angle is an angle that measures 90 degrees. So this would be a right angle. And this, of course, is a 90-degree angle. An acute angle is an angle measuring less than 90 degrees. So think small when you think acute. So this is actually less than 90 degrees. It's a small angle. It's smaller than 90 degrees. But an obtuse angle is an angle measuring greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So we know that a 90-degree angle is here. Let me take that off. A 90-degree angle is here. A 180-degree angle is just a straight line. So this would be 180. So we're saying that an obtuse is going to be in between a 90 and a 180. So an obtuse angle would look probably something like that. So this angle here is greater than 90, but less than 180. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So again, we know that a 90-degree angle or a right angle looks like this. Now, if we were to kind of split this and we would say that this is angle A and this is angle B, well, to say that these two are complementary, we know that if we take angle A and add it to angle B, it's going to equal 90 degrees because all together this forms a 90-degree angle. Supplementary angles are two angles that add to 180 degrees. So again, we know a 180-degree angle is a straight line. And if we kind of split this and we call this part angle A and we call this part angle B, we know that angle A plus angle B would equal 180 degrees. Vertical angles are angles opposite each other when two lines cross. And we know that vertical angles are equal. So let's say that we have two lines and they are crossing each other. We would call this angle A and we would call this angle A. Because they are across from each other, they are equal to each other. So if we said that this angle was 45 degrees, this angle is also 45 degrees. And it also works the other way. If this were angle B, this would also be angle B. Okay, if this were 75 degrees, this would also be 75 degrees. If they are vertical angles, they equal each other. A linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles that form a straight line. They are supplementary. So this is going to look a lot like the visual that was drawn for supplementary angles because it is exactly the same. Supplementary angles are also linear pairs, okay? So we have this straight line here. This is a 180-degree angle. We call these two angles linear pairs. They are beside each other. They are adjacent. They are supplementary. So again, A plus B would equal 180 degrees because together they form this straight line. And then finally, adjacent angles are two angles that have a common side and vertex and do not overlap. So again, this is going to look a lot like the visual for supplementary and the visual for a linear pair because they are all the same. So here we have two angles, A and B. They have a common side and vertex, and they are not overlapping each other. So adjacent angles, just like supplementary angles, just like linear pairs, add to equal 180. So A plus B equals 180 degrees.